So how do I choose a co-packer for my spice business? So if you're looking to expand and scale your spice business, you're probably thinking about using a co-packer. Well, I'm going to give you the 10 questions every single spice business who wants to launch and expand with a co-packer should ask a co-packer before you even begin to sign a contract. And these 10 questions, we're going to jump into them right now. Hi guys, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. So I'm going to give you the 10 questions that every single spice business needs to ask a co-packer. And we're going to start with those numbers from 10 down to number 1. So you want to stick with us from the beginning to the end of this video. And at the end of the video, check out those additional resources we're going to pop up on the screen for the spice businesses. So let's dive into these 10 questions. Number 10. So what is your minimum order quantity? Now, when you begin to work with a co-packer, this question is important because it helps you determine whether the co-packer's minimum order quantity fits your production needs and your budget. If their minimum order quantity is too high, it may be difficult for you to meet it, especially if you're a small business. Now, on the other hand, if their minimum order quantity is too low, it may not even be worth having a co-packer use their time and effort to work with you. Number 9, can you accommodate my recipe and spice blend requirements? Now, it is essential to understand and ensure that the co-packer can meet your specific recipe and spice blend requirements. This includes any dietary restrictions or special needs for your customers. You'll want to make sure that the co-packer has the necessary equipment, expertise to handle your recipe and spice blend, and ensure that the consistent quality of the batch after batch. All right, so number 8, so what is your lead time and your production and delivery time frame? Now this is very, very important. Production time frame is one thing and having it delivered is another. So knowing the co-packer's lead time will help you plan your production and your delivery timelines. Now, if your co-packer has a long lead time, it could delay your product launch or prevent you from meeting a customer's demand. Now, you'll also want to ask about their delivery time so you can plan your inventory management and make sure that they have what they need for production. Let's dive into number 7. So number 7, so do you have any certifications or quality control measures in place? Certifications and quality control measures such as FDA compliance, organic certification, and hazardous analysis and critical control points, also known as HACCP, are important to ensure that the co-packer can produce high quality but safe products. Make sure that the co-packer's certifications and the quality control measures align with your own business values and requirements. All right, number 6, can you provide references or even case studies of previous clients? Now, one thing that's really great about this is that references or case studies from past clients can give you an insight into the co-packer's experience, capabilities, and overall quality. It's important to hear from other businesses that have worked with the co-packer to see how they perform in actual real-life scenarios. So number 5, what is your pricing structure? This is something that's very, very crucial because it can be many ways. Knowing the co-packer's pricing structure will help you determine if their services fit within your budget. You'll want to make sure that you're comparing apples to apples when looking at price structures though, because some co-packers may have additional fees that aren't immediately obvious, so make sure you understand all aspects and all costs that are involved. All right, let's dive into number 4, guys. So how do you handle packaging and, of course, your labeling? Now, one of the most critical parts of packaging is it's very important to ensure that the co-packer can provide packaging and labeling services that meet your brand and regulatory requirements. You want to make sure that the co-packer can produce packaging and labeling that, of course, aligns with your brand and meets all the necessary regulations that also have to be met. Number 3, do you provide storage and logistics services? This is something that a lot of spice business owners don't ask about. Some co-packers may offer storage and logistics services, which can be convenient if you don't have the space or the resources to handle these aspects of production. Now, knowing whether or not the co-packer provides these services will help you plan your business logistics and do that on your own and manage your inventory. Number 2, getting down to number 1. So how do you handle quality issues and product recalls? Now, knowing how the co-packer handles quality issues or product recalls will help you understand how they respond to potential issues. You'll want to know that the co-packer takes quality seriously and has a plan in place if it addresses any issues that may arise during the production process. So number 1, last but not least, what is your processing for onboarding new clients? Now, understanding the co-packer's onboarding process can also help you prepare for what to expect when you work with them and ensure basically a smooth transition to them producing your product. Now, you'll want to know what information and documents they need from you with your timelines and what they look like and how they'll communicate this throughout the whole process of working with you. So these 10 questions are crucial if you want to successfully utilize a co-packer to scale your spice business. Now, if you've ever worked with a co-packer, definitely let us know down in the comments section. We definitely appreciate that. If you've got any questions about these 10 questions, let us know in the comments as well. Your first video, definitely hit the subscribe button. We've got over 1,000 videos. Now, as I mentioned before, you definitely want to check out all of these additional videos here if you are operating or starting a spice business. See you guys on our next video.
How do I find a co-packer near me? Now, that is a question that we get quite often. And if you go to Google and you type that in, it is a search that is extremely searched, let's just say, over and over for people trying to find co-packers near me. Well, you don't want to necessarily do that. And the reason being is, all right, so welcome back to Marketing Food Online. It's Damian Roberti, founder and CEO. So I wanted to put this actual video together, giving you specific instructions on don't just type in Google to find a co-packer for your food product, because it's not exactly the best way to kind of weed out the ones that are going to be good and the ones that are not going to be. So in this video, I'm actually going to go over 7 specific things that you really want to take a look at as you find a co-packer, which, by the way, doesn't need to really be near you. And that is something that gets asked quite a bit here on Marketing Food Online and our other food channels as well, because a lot of times people who are starting their farm-based food businesses or their initial food business product, and they're trying to find a co-packer, they want to find someone near me. You don't necessarily need to do that. You can find a fantastic one that works very well with your business that could be in California and you're located in New York. So the first kind of myth, if you will, you want to get rid of the idea that you really have to find one so close to yourself, okay? What's really important is that you want to find a co-packer who falls in line with the type of product that you can make it accurately, can have a minimal turnaround time, and maybe even a minimal order process for you to actually place your orders with, and then checking to see on a few other things. Now, those other things are going to be the 7 I'm about to go into. So number 7, be sure to get referrals from the co-packer. Before you dive into any relationship with a co-packer, you want to know from actual businesses that have done actual business with them, how is it and how do they work? What was your experience like, and what can you expect when you actually approach the co-packer to produce your product? Because remember, that product is your baby. That is something you've worked on, and that is a representation of your business. And if a co-packer can't produce it exactly the way you want it to be, then you need to move on to a different co-packer. So you want to make sure you get some referrals, and the minimum, I would say 3 to 5 referrals for every single co-packer that you pick up the phone and you simply contact and ask them, hey, who have you dealt with before? What companies, what's their names? Find their websites, call them up and say, look, my name is Damian. I'm looking to incorporate and have this company do a closed package product for me and do some co-packing. What was your experience like? I have a product that's very similar to the industry or similar to what you're producing and blah, 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 blah. And then you can ask them exactly what their experience was. So you definitely want to start off with some type of referrals from those co-packers. Number 6, be sure to reach out to at least 5 to 7 co-packers who produce the type of product that you're making. If it happens to be salsa, let's say, and you find 5 or 6 or 7 different co-packers that can produce salsa, then you need to reach out to all of them. Get referrals from every single one of them, because you kind of want to weed out who's going to be the best, who's offering the best products at the best pricing too, and who has the ability to have the right turnaround time and everything else that you're looking for. But you want to kind of scan over the landscape and find out which one's really going to work best for you. So by just simply going to Google, and like I mentioned in the introduction, and just typing in co-packer near me, that's not going to be the best way to do it. That's not the way to go about it. Okay, so number 5, don't expect a co-packer next door. Okay, like I mentioned before in the beginning, in the opening, you want to make sure that you find the right co-packer. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be in your city or maybe even in your state or county that you live in. If you find the right one, they may not be as close as you think, and that's okay. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter. What really truly matters is their ability, again, to produce the product for you at a price point that you both can obviously agree upon, and a turnaround time that's accurate and in benefit of you, your business, because you are the one bringing them the business. Number 4, how do they ship? So this is really important, especially today with so many companies that are doing fulfillment centers processes like Amazon FBA, or if they happen to be shipping out to a warehouse where the fulfillment process itself is something that I personally wouldn't be doing, but the fulfillment center would be. So if the co-packer offers a certain shipping service where they can ship that directly to a warehouse or even multiple warehouses, you need to clarify that. You need to make sure that they're not going to ship it directly to me. And let's just say you're working out of your home and you're going to get a whole bunch of cases of salsa, and then you have to ship it back out to some fulfillment center. So make sure that they have the capacity and the capabilities to ship out to either multiple warehouses if you've got a fulfillment center, or one single one that is going to be handling the distribution of your product. Number 3, do they source everything or do you? So again, going back to Google and typing in, getting a co-packer near me, these questions are not something that you're going to answer by simply just finding the closest one and then calling them up. You want to make sure that they are going to be either sourcing everything completely or you're going to be doing that. What does that mean, Damien, specifically? Well, again, let's just say you're doing salsa and you've got 5 or 6 different fresh ingredients that go into the salsa. You've got a container of packaging, right? And a lid, and you also have labeling. So are they going to be in charge of handling all that by you just simply giving the recipe and how it's made, and then they're going to take it from there? Or are you going to be bringing together all of these products? Because most of the time, the co-packers will rely upon you as the client to bring and facilitate all of that and make sure that the facility has that's going to be doing it for you. The co-packers say, great, yes, we can do this. Here's the amount of time. This is the cost. We need all of the ingredients, including the packaging and labeling here by X amount of date. So you need to clarify that, because some companies will actually do it for you. But guess what? They're going to charge you, and they're going to charge you pretty good for that as well. And that's going to bring down your margins on every unit. Okay, so do they source or are you sourcing what's needed to produce your product? So number 2, this is one of the most important things. I probably actually would have put this at number 1, believe it or not. But number 2, what are the minimums and the maximums? Now let me go over what that means in a minute, but what are the minimum quantity orders that are needed? So there's a lot of co-packers that are now offering smaller and lower minimums on anything that they produce. Obviously, if it's salsa or even nutritional protein bars or trail mixes or whatever it may be, because there's been a big explosion, a big boom of business that is happening online, where a lot of companies are starting from scratch and they can't order 10 or 15,000 units. They might order 900 to 1,500 units. So you want to make sure that you're finding the company, again, not by simply Googling it, but finding the company that meets all of these specifications and then finding the minimum that's going to fit right for your budget. If you happen to be starting a salsa business and you've only got about $5,000 to get into it, and you find a company that can do just a few hundred units, that's going to be a better route for you to do than to actually go and buy more than you need. So make sure that the minimum is understood and it actually fits within your budget, because it's your business. And the maximum. So what does that mean, Damien? Finding out what their maximums are. Well, down the road, as your business scales and grows, you want to know what is their maximum capacity. Every facility has a maximum capacity output of what they can create, whether it's salsa, trail mix, or even cookies if you find someone to do baked goods for you. So you want to know what is their minimum and their maximum, because as you grow, if you needed 25,000 jars of salsa and they can only do 10,000, then that might be a little bit of a binding situation. So you may have to end up finding another co-packer. So understand the minimums and the maximum output production for that co-packer to see what is best for you. Number 1. All right, so now we're down to number 1. And of course, before we get to that, as always, if you haven't done it yet, definitely subscribe. And if you're in need of consult or consultations, let us know too down below. We also offer 1-hour consults actually directly with me if you need any additional support or help or understanding the processes to get your business going. So that is done and said, let's jump right into it. Number 1, turnaround times. The most important thing, at least from our marketing food online staff put together, is, to be honest with you, the turnaround times are very crucial. Why is that so important, Damien? Well, because here's the thing. If you are an independent food business and you're just starting out on your own, for you to order 5,000 or 6,000 units and take an inventory of those, and then you begin to sell them online and you can monitor it, that's one thing. But when you get into the point where retailers or other stores or even chain stores happen to put in very large orders, they need to have it there at a certain time. There's a deadline. So the turnaround times are the most crucial and critical things. You want to make sure a co-packer can and will meet the deadlines that they tell you specifically, because if you give a deadline to a buyer who's ordering 25 or 30,000 units of your product and you don't meet that on time, they're going to find someone else to fill that spot. Trust me, it happens. I've actually heard stories from friends of mine who have missed deadlines and they get taken out of stores. So what you want to do is you want to be sure that you have a right turnaround time. It's very critical, very crucial, especially today with so many supply chain issue problems and such. You want to make sure that they can actually bring the output, put the output of the quantity that you requested, and you get it in hand, or the stores get it as they need it on time. So those are 7 critical points to make sure that you answer by not just simply Googling co-packer near me. That's not going to do it for you guys. You want to really narrow it down and do a little bit more research. Do your due diligence, educate yourself on what you need to know. Of course, hopefully these 7 things help you understand that. But do your homework and don't simply just find someone that's right next door to you, because they may not be the right fit for you. So if you have any more questions on how do I find a co-packer and co-packers near me, let us know down below. And if you've worked with a co-packer and you've had experience, comment down below this video for other people who have subscribed to the channel. They might use your information that would be useful to help them understand as well. See you guys on our next video.
All right, it's David from Marketing Food Online. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the 3 ways on how co-packers charge you. And if your question is, how much do co-packers charge for food businesses? You're gonna love to stick around for the rest of this video. I'm gonna go over the 3 ways they do it, give you some pricing, and we're gonna jump into that right now. All right, so as I mentioned back in the introduction, this video is going to cover 3 different methods that co-packers for your food business will charge you in order for them to help scale your business, produce the product for you, and even ship it out to areas where you need it to be shipped. So we're going to dive into this question. Before we do, as always, this is the first video you're watching on Marketing Food Online. I am Damian Roberti, founder of Marketing Food Online. I am an entrepreneur. My wife and I started our e-commerce food businesses over a decade ago, and that's what inspired me to start a YouTube channel to teach you guys what I've learned over the past 12 years. So first off, let's dive into it. So co-packers have 3 different methods to actually charge based upon the needs that you have, the services they can actually provide you, and the duration of time it takes to make your product. Before we get into those 3, the first question is, when should I use a co-packer? This is actually a question I get emailed through our Marketing Food Online at Yahoo email quite often. When should I use a co-packer, Damian? So if you are creating a food product at home, and you're doing it under the cottage food law, and you've been very successful doing it, you're making some money at doing it, and obviously staying within the limitations of cottage food law, but you're wanting to expand and step out. You've already created a customer base locally, but now you wanted to get a website, maybe potentially get into a retail store, maybe even local cafes, wherever it may be, but you've kind of maxed out the ability for you to produce the quantities that are needed to grow your business. That is a good point and reference to start approaching a co-packer. Now, definitely one time when you should not approach a co-packer is when you first start a business. You have an idea, you created a packaging, you've got your label, you got your logo, you've got your brand, but you don't have any proof of sale yet. You don't have any proof of idea or proof of concept. So nobody knows about your product. You don't want to approach a co-packer and ask them, hey, can you produce 5, 6, 7,000 units of this product? Because then I want to try to sell it. The idea is to kind of get some local buzz about your product, or go online, and if you have the ability to get a commercial space and ship the product through the internet, go on Amazon, eBay, and Etsy and generate some sales first. But you want to be at the point where you can generate additional sales, scale it, even get into retail stores or maybe even a nationwide grocery chain. That is a great point that you need to start contacting a co-packer, because they can produce the product for you at a very short period of time, but make more of it than you could possibly do by yourself. Okay, so for the first type of charge that a co-packer will charge you in order to do the product is a per unit charge. Now, this could be very unique unto the type of product that you make, but we actually contacted 16 different co-packers and we got a variation of price points anywhere from 30 cents up to 60 cents is what we got per unit in order for them to produce the product on an individual basis. So that would mean like, hey, you know what? I contacted co-packer and say, look, I'm going to get about 5,000 units or 1,000 units of your product. I want you to produce it for me. The co-packer is going to give you a per unit cost. So that range between anywhere from 20 to 60 cents per unit, that's going to be the range per unit based upon that size of an order. And then that way you'll get a quote and you'll know how much it is going to be going into it. Okay. So the first type is actually a per unit charge. Okay, so the second type of way that a co-packer will charge you to do their services is an hourly rate. Now, this is kind of a little bit more of an expensive venture in some cases because the range that we found was between $20 an hour up to actually $70 an hour. Now, again, depending upon the type of product that you make, for instance, using as an example, if you get a company to produce a trail mix for you, the idea of mixing a trail mix together, putting it into a bag and labeling it is obviously much different if you go and you have a spaghetti sauce or a salsa, or you have a lot more of a labor-intensive product that has to be chopped, measured, even cooked, cooled down, and then put into a process of canning, jarring, or something to that effect. That's going to vary greatly, okay? So don't get me wrong. Some of these may be inexpensive depending on the price per unit for the type of product that you're making and the way that it's going to be made. And then some are going to be much more labor intensive, and that's going to be a little bit on the higher end. So when you calculate your wholesale pricing, you need to factor in the cost that the co-packer's using it, either it be by unit or by hour, and you need to make sure that you're covering that cost when you pass that price point on as a wholesale price point to your retail store. Or if you're selling it to someone else who's going to resell it, they're going to buy it at a wholesale price point. You want to make sure that you're factoring in those costs as well, okay? Third way, if you want to look for the average co-packer markup price point, you're going to look at a third way, and that third way is a flat day rate. Okay, so a flat day rate works where they're going to charge you, the co-packer will charge you a set amount for the entire day. Now, normally that hour span is between about 8 to even 10 hours. We found a couple of co-packers that actually did spices that had a 10-hour day period. Between 8 to 10 hours in a single day, they're going to charge you a specific dollar amount. This is really an interesting way to do it, and actually one way where you can maximize the workday by producing as much as you possibly can, because it's not per unit, it's not broken down by hour, you get them the whole entire day. So if you can produce a certain amount within that day, this may be the most beneficial as far as your investment is going to be concerned. Now, this range was between $500 up to $1,000 range for the entire day. Now again, this goes back to what I mentioned just a little while ago. You want to be careful because of the type of processing it takes to make your particular product. Dry spice rubs, nut blends, or trail mixes, things that don't have to be cooked and cooled and measured to a point where you've got ingredients and a whole multitude of items going into it, are going to be a lot less, plus they're a lot less time to make. So the more intricate, more involved the product may be, you're going to have a tendency to have a little bit more on the higher end as far as the pricing is concerned when you use a co-packer. All right, so that's going to be the rundown of the three main ways that actually co-packers will charge you, so you can understand how much do co-packers charge. And you want to make sure you check out, I've got a video that's coming out that's going to give you a list of actual secret expenses that a lot of people don't think about when you're dealing with co-packers. Not only are these three ways the ways that they can actually charge you, but there is actually a handful of other fees that you may have never heard of. And on my next video I'll put out for the co-packers, I'm going to list those different expenses and things that you need to be aware of, plus the things that you need to ask your co-packer. So if that was helpful, as always, let me know down below. Those are the three different ways that you can actually get charged. And as I mentioned, I think the last one is one that can be really beneficial, especially when you're small and you're starting to expand or scale your business. Getting a co-packer for the entire day at a set rate may be more beneficial. So if you have any comments or questions about this, let us know down below, and I'll see you guys on our next video. Thanks for watching Marketing Food Online. And if you are looking to create your own food truck, start a home-based food business under the cottage food law, franchise a food operation, start a packaged food business, private label your own food product, sell on Amazon, get your own online store, or sell food online, remember to subscribe and check out these videos for more resources.